rumors about a possible trade of Hendon Hooker are intensifying more and more, and it's not without reason. The young quarterback, who was acquired by the Detroit Lions with high expectations after an outstanding performance at the University of Tennessee, now finds himself in a delicate situation within the franchise. After being selected in the third round of the draft, he seemed to have a bright future ahead, with hopes of eventually taking over as the starting quarterback. However, with Jared Goff firmly established as the leader of the offense and recently renewed, the space for Hooker to grow and assert himself as the future of the position is shrinking by the day. But does this mean the team is ready to part ways with such a talented quarterback, one who hasn't had the chance to prove his true value yet? This scenario leaves fans and analysts with many questions, and the rumors about his trade continue to gain momentum. As the offseason progresses, the speculations surrounding Hooker's future become more intense, especially when you look at other teams in the NFL that are in search of a young quarterback with high potential. Hendon Hooker, despite not having been tested with a consistent run of games as a starter, is seen as a player with great developmental potential, something that many franchises can't ignore. For the Lions, the situation is a bit more complicated. They're in a privileged position and don't need to rush into trading the player, which gives them the advantage of evaluating the situation calmly. However, at the same time, there's an opportunity to use Hooker's value to strengthen other areas of the team, which needs to continue developing to compete for a Super Bowl title in the coming years. Hendon Hooker's journey up to this point has been full of twists and turns, and his path to the NFL has been more difficult than many initially anticipated. During his final season at the University of Tennessee, Hooker stood out as one of the most exciting quarterbacks in the NCAA. His ability to read defenses, his precision in passing, and his aggressiveness on the field made him one of the most coveted prospects in the draft. Many saw him as a potential first-round pick, a quarterback who could immediately impact any franchise that selected him. However, fate had other plans. During the 2022 season, Hooker suffered a severe knee injury, tearing his anterior cruciate ligament (ACL), which caused him to miss much of the season and hurt his chances of remaining in the first-round conversation. Once he rehabbed, his draft stock plummeted, and he ended up being selected by the Lions in the third round, a good value for the Lions, who saw his potential and saw an opportunity for long-term development. The Lions, under the leadership of Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, didn't rush to put him on the field right away. Instead, they decided to give Hooker time to fully recover from his injury and learn the team's offensive system. It was a strategic decision. Without rushing, the Lions gave Hooker the time he needed to adjust to the pace of the NFL, knowing he was still a promising quarterback. Hooker's rookie season was thus more focused on recovery than on immediate adaptation to the field. While this turned out to be beneficial, as it gave him a solid foundation for when he would eventually get his chance, the time to prove himself was limited. Now, with Jared Goff renewed and firmly established as the Lions' starting quarterback, Hooker finds himself in an even more uncertain position. While Goff continues to play a crucial role in the Lions' offense and is under a long-term contract, Hooker's future with the franchise is now at a crossroads. He's still young and has great potential, but the lack of opportunities to prove his worth on the field raises the question: will he be able to develop that potential in Detroit, or would it be better for him and the franchise to trade him to a team that can give him more playing time? In this scenario, the decision to either keep or trade Hooker is a delicate one, as it not only involves the player's future, but also the long-term planning of the franchise. The quarterback market in the NFL, as always, is in constant motion, and many teams have shown interest in young quarterbacks with high potential. Hendon Hooker fits this profile perfectly, and teams in search of a new leader for their offense may see him as an excellent opportunity. Teams like the New York Jets, who are dealing with the uncertain situation of Aaron Rodgers returning from a serious Achilles tendon injury, might see Hooker as a viable option for the future. The same goes for the Las Vegas Raiders, who are in an unstable situation at quarterback with Jimmy Garoppolo and Aiden O'Connell. These teams could be looking for a young quarterback with high potential, and Hooker is exactly the type of player who could be molded into a franchise leader in the coming years. Other teams like the Atlanta Falcons are also in a similar situation. While Desmond Ridder has shown flashes of skill, he has yet to solidify himself as a reliable long-term option. This opens the door for Hooker, who has the talent to take on a prominent role. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, despite Baker Mayfield performing well, may also be keeping an eye on a young quarterback to develop, ensuring stability at the position for the future. These teams may be willing to pay a good price for Hooker, knowing that he has the potential to become an elite quarterback if developed properly. If the Lions decide to trade Hooker, what can they expect in return? The answer is simple: a good return. The market for young quarterbacks is always valuable, and trading Hooker could net the Lions draft picks that could be used to strengthen other areas of the team. A trade could result in a second or third round pick, which would be a fair price for a quarterback with Hooker's potential. Another possibility is that the Lions could acquire a veteran player in return, someone who could contribute immediately and help the team continue its pursuit of a title. While this option is interesting, it comes with its own challenges, as it would mean giving up a young, promising talent. However, the Lions need to carefully weigh the risks of making this trade. If Goff suffers an injury during the season, the team could find itself without a reliable option to take over the starting quarterback role. Moreover, there's always the risk that, by trading Hooker, he might go on to become a star in another franchise. In that scenario, the Lions could end up regretting their decision to part with a quarterback with so much potential. On the other hand, keeping Hooker in Detroit as an option for the future may prove to be a wise decision, especially considering that he could become a key player for the team in a few years. Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell now face a difficult strategic decision. Keeping Hooker could be the best choice for the long term, ensuring a reliable option for the future, while trading him could bring immediate reinforcements that help the Lions continue their quest for a Super Bowl title. Whatever decision is made, Hendon Hooker's future will be one of the biggest storylines of the Lions offseason. Another factor to consider is the growing pressure on the Lions to stay competitive and secure a playoff berth. With Goff as the established starter, the team's window for a championship run is wide open. They need to surround their key players with the right talent to maximize their chances. A trade involving Hooker could give the Lions the resources to add another impactful player, whether it's a defensive upgrade or a weapon on offense. That could potentially help them push further in the postseason and solidify their position as serious Super Bowl contenders in the near future. What do you think about Hooker's situation? Should the Lions keep him for the future, or is it time to trade him and seek immediate reinforcements? Leave your opinion in the comments below, and continue following Lions News Fan Report for more exclusive analysis about the franchise's future and everything happening with the Detroit Lions.